about the lifeless bodies that were found by members and tragedy striking at Afashio community in Etsako West local government area, where reports have it that from Edo State actually, where 5 young lives were lost under mysterious circumstances. The victims, 4 boys and 1 girl, were found lifeless in a room by their family members who grew concerned when they didn't come out. 2 of the victims were brothers, while the others were friends. Notably, there were no signs of assault or visible injuries, leading a community source to suspect food poisoning. The incident had been reported to Jatu Police Division, and the Edo State Command spokesperson, Moses Yamo, confirmed that an investigation is ongoing to determine the cause of the death of these people. The community and family members are still in shock, seeking answers and closure. The police investigation will hopefully shed light on what happened. I can imagine how confused the family members would be, not knowing exactly what caused the death of these people, because they were locked in their rooms. They were actually in their rooms, in their room, right? Siblings and then friends, from the story as it has been explained. But I just want to know your immediate reaction to this, George.
It is very saddening and very unfortunate to see that someone want to take the lives of other people. From the reports, it suspected food poisoning, and I've seen a lot of writings and reports on social media about this same unfortunate incidents. Some people have even wrote that the sisterhood is proud of you and so many things.
Oh.
It boils down to the fact that bitterness, untreated bitterness, will produce a lot of dangerous actions. When people are bitter, and people will offend you, people will hurt you, people will make you angry. When you look at the Russian physiologist Ivan Pavlov during his experiments with the dog, when he talked about classical conditioning, you see that bitterness conditions people too. Bitterness conditions people to take certain actions that would be detrimental to themselves and the society. Victimhood is a state. And in the state of victimhood and victims create more victims. When someone has labeled or classified himself as a victim, he wants to create more victims. Victims tend to express themselves by inflicting hurt and pain in the lives of others. Now, victims speak. Victims, when they have been boxed in that state of victimhood. In this case, the young lady poisoned her ex and his friends.
Yes, from that story.
From the story.
That is trending.
Now, you can say she has been a victim. Whatever she has been through, whatever experience she has had, is that enough to kill someone, to take the life of someone? Now, when you sit down critically and look at this situation and look at this issue, you begin to ask yourself, why will people want to go to this extent of wanting to take the life of someone, wanting to kill someone? That's what victims do. They express themselves by trying to inflict harm, hurt, pain, wherever they find themselves.
Right, so let's bring Ugochukwu on this story.
This has become a recurring decimal in Nigeria, in the sense that all the food poisoning cases we've had in Nigeria has gone uninvestigated, and the government has have not really taken cognizance of it to really find out what are the remote causes of this food poisoning.
No, don't you think that's an outright statement saying all the food poisoning cases in Nigeria have gone without investigation?
Yes, I've been following, especially this kind of the people dying in this kind of scenario. people dying in their homes, maybe families after having a meal. They will just, nobody will be able to fathom what led to their demise. Even in schools, you recall that a few years ago we had this kind of scenario play out in Lagos, one of the prominent girls' secondary schools in Lagos. You know, a lot of things happened. You also recall that I think 2 weeks ago we had such incident in one of the northern states. So if a government that their primary responsibility is to protect lives and property, and the welfare of the people is their primary responsibility, you know, this is part of the welfarean packages that government will be expected to look into, especially when you begin to lose the lives of your citizens in an unconvincing and unconventional and in a way that suspect that you know, people are not eating healthy. Is it from those middlemen or those who stock this food, or is it from the families? You know, there are a lot of insinuations which I'm not going to go into, because hence the government has refused to do the needful in making sure that those cases are followed to the letter and white paper issued, and so that we can know where to trace those things. You know, there is no market control in Nigeria. The forces of the market, you can come into the market, import whatever, and go to the market and sell it. I recall one of the popular quotes of late Professor Dora Akunyere, when she was a guest speaker in Odenibo lecture, I think around 2012. You know, she said that the pride of all Nigerian leaders is the market. What is the market? Our population. So a Nigerian government goes to negotiate in the international community. It's not even about your oil, because you could see how many, we are about 7th or 8th ranked. And they only, you know, pride themselves as the most populous black nation. Thereby, this is the market. What are the market? The market are the people, where you bring in anything and you sell, and nobody questions you. If you also go through the NAFDAC report and see how Nigeria has become a dumping ground for illicit drugs and unregistered and unwholesome drugs, even what they call the sachet water, they popularly call pure water in Nigeria, is also very toxic, you know, because people are not checking all those things. The drinks and all we might be blaming it on food. And don't forget that we have the outbreak of cholera, you know, in and around Nigeria. So that's why I'm not going to base my analysis on a particular source of the cause of death. So it is holistic, because the government has decided not to nip things in the bud and get to the actual root and remote causes of those deaths. So we begin to live in the world of
investigations are on currently. Investigations are on this particular issue, right? So we will definitely get to follow it up.
And I'm
to
saying
find out
that
the
those
result
investigations have not seen the light of the day. Go to the Ministry of Health. Go to the, okay, let me give you an example that happened, I think 2 weeks ago or 3 in Rivers State. There was disturbing news around the warfare, as they call it naval base ASICs. You know, disturbing news of some sacks being stacked allegedly with human parts, and the government went there, and the story came out from the environmental health or whatever sector that is concerned about that, saying that those were remains of livestock. And you begin to imagine, even when they wanted to go on damage control or let there not be panic in the town, but when you look at it critically, because we had people on ground, and the government, after making that statement, the State Orientational Agency, the Rivers State Ministry of Health, and those concerned have not even come out to now educate the people. Look at what happened. They just made one statement, and that was all. And you allow people to believe that. So that is what I'm saying, that coming out to say it now, that people have died, we are suspecting this and that. Miss Jackson, you will sit back and watch if you will see to the tail end of this.
Let's definitely see how the investigation goes. But let me hear from Emmanuel on what you think the government could do to reduce this menace.
Well, beyond the government, we have individual responsibility because you can't police the hearts of people. You can't secure the hearts of people.
So you feel the government doesn't have a role to play?
The government have a lot of responsibility.
Okay, let's start from
ensuring that we have, just our distinguished guest has said, there's proper monitoring of our food, water, ensuring safety standards, that what we eat is safe for consumption, and that cases of food poisoning is not swept under the carpet, and those who are involved in such heinous crimes are apprehended and punished to serve as a deterrent to others, and that we should not sit back and just feel bad when people die, but we should take action. Actions speak louder than words. Now, on the individual aspect, I would say that the human mind is very powerful, and the human mind is like a room. You can open it up for hurt and bitterness, and you can open it up for love. To err is human, but forgiveness is divine. It's a popular quote we always talk about many times. When someone takes such an evil action to kill and to poison others, you begin to ask yourself, what drives such bitterness, hate? What drives people to kill?
Sometimes, talking about what drives people, sometimes it's greed. Because when we look at some of the activities of these people in the market, people who sell some food items and the things that they do in order to make more profit, you begin to ask questions like, does it mean that this woman or this man doing this thing is not aware of the effects? Because some of them are, but they continue. You want to buy fruit. These days, it's not so easy to get fruits anymore. Yes. Not because there are no fruits on the road. There are fruits on the roadside, in the market and everywhere. But you want to buy that banana, you're asking yourself,
yes. How
can
did
I
it get
really
ripe?
get
How did
this?
It get,
they ripen the banana, they ripen the plantain. The red oil is not, what it's supposed to be. So I know the government has a role to play, which you have broken down and you have explained. You both have. But that's why I didn't strike out the individual aspect. So when we talk about these individuals carrying out this crime, these, criminal activities, that's all I call it.
Yes.
How do you think that we can curb that part of it?
I've been poisoned before, food poisoning that you're talking about.
Maybe you should explain the poisoning.
I almost lost my life.
Was it someone putting some substance in your food, or what you bought from the market?
I went to eat in a public eatery, and immediately I finished eating, and I was just heading to my house, and I discovered that I was slumping, and I was almost dying.
Gasping for breath.
Yes, struggling to survive. Since I was born, I've never experienced such before. It seems like my stomach was on fire and my intestines are rupturing. And then I was rushed, and then I got urgent, immediate medical attention. Yes. And that was what saved my life. And it took many hours for me to be resuscitated and revived, and for me to realize that I'm still living, because it was like I was dead. Now, I suspected that from the place I ate, the public eatery, possibly the oil that was added. Because now we're talking about the individual contribution to this food poisoning. A lot of criminality takes place in our country today.
In order to maximize gain.
Yes.
Just to maximize gain.
It beats,
to the detriment of others.
It beats my imagination how people could be so wicked. Now, the palm oil, people add chemicals to the palm oil to produce more palm oil. Now, when we talk about the decay in our society, the moral decadence and the failures of leadership and governance, look at the people's action. You cannot separate individuals from this corruption, right? So a lot of people are involved in it, and it is fueled by greed.
You know, the
Cutting
other day
corners.
we saw in the news where it was reported in one of the trusted papers that some people were using transformer oil. I know some people don't know that there's something like that, but people are using transformer oil to fry bean cake, what we call akara. So, Ugochukwu, how do you think we can reduce this greed amongst the people that makes them go for more profit at the detriment of the lives of other people?
That's the decay and the loss of value we have in Nigeria. The quest for self-aggrandizement, the quest for should be the only cook crowing in my area, and again the human mind that is insatiable. Even all those things they are doing, you find out that they are the people who look for more, because when you are not contented with what you have, when you're not living within your means and within the limit of what comes to you.
What is the solution to that?
Yeah, the solution, you cannot completely remove the government. We need self-rebirth. We need to conscientize ourselves. We need the National Orientation Agency to begin to work.
Exactly.
So the National Orientation Agency is not only there to tell people to go and collect their PVCs. They are not there to tell people when the government is giving them palliative. These are their very core mandates.
All right, thank you.
That they will continue to enlighten the people and let people live within the limit of what they have, and they begin to reduce a lot of appetites.